Life is a video game, and almost everyone you know is playing it wrong. Now, I know you heard that statement before. It's on shirts, people write it underneath their captions. People say it all the time, but don't really stop to think about what it really means. So let's think about it. What does it actually mean? If life is a video game, that means there are rules. That means there was a creator or a developer. That means we have all the different elements of a video game. Respawn point, skills, gold or resources. There's a map, there's side quests, there's co-op play, and there's even a way to win. Now in this video, I'm gonna break down 4 ways how a person can play. And I bet you most people are stuck on level 1 and they don't even know it. Now the question I ask you, which level are you? So the NPC, he's just following the script. He's kind of stuck. First player, and he's the one making most of the choices. So I think most people are stuck between here and here. Here is where the game gets interesting. The observer. This is the person holding the controller. You see, most people think this is the main character. And last but not least, we have the developer or the master. This is the person that masters the game. They beat the game, and now they teach the game to other people. So here's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna show you why this is not just a metaphor. I'm also gonna show you the mistake that's keeping you stuck at level 1. And then we're gonna go ahead and walk through the most important elements of the game. We'll also touch on the side quests. And if you stay till the end, I'm even gonna show you how to beat the game, not just survive it, but actually beat it and win. Now this video is gonna change your perspective on how life should be lived. Lock in. All right, so now before we get into the video, I want you to think about this. The smartest people that have ever lived, from all walks of life, scientific fields, philosophical principles, they keep landing on the same exact conclusion. Now think about the one you've already heard. The simulation, aka the Matrix. The biggest names in technology right now, those that are building the craziest supercomputers, the most advanced artificial intelligence, the most high-tech machines that are out there. All of these discuss the simulation theory. Now that's the scientific lens. Now let's look at the mystical lens. Now guys, if you know me, you know I don't study one side of the coin, right? The way I learn and I study, I want to see every single perspective, and I want to see what information lines up. So now if you have the scientists saying one thing, you have the mystics saying the same thing, I think it's worth a look. So now let's go back thousands of years, the ancients, and see what the ancients said. Plato, in his allegory of the cave, talked about beings in a cave watching their shadow. And then he explained how the shadows were mistaken for reality, even though they're just shadows. The Hindu texts, they said the world of Maya, and reality being an illusion. If you look at Islam and what it says the world is just the dunya, it's the 3D. The Hermeticists, they mentioned all is mind, it's all an illusion up here. And that's when you have people like Bob Proctor and Neville Goddard, when they talk about creating reality, they talk about creating it up here first and feeling all the emotions and using all the senses for it to materialize in this reality. So the mystics are all saying pretty much the same exact thing. And then we talked about the science behind it. Now there's a specific experiment called the double slit experiment. Now if you know anything about physics, this was a very famous experiment that technically broke physics, right? All the scientists were debating about it. Till this day, they still don't have an answer. But I think when you combine the esoteric and the spiritual wisdom with science, I think there's some fine print text that you can kind of see that comes up as recurring patterns across all the different timelines. So this experiment says that a particle at a microscopic level, when no one's watching it, behaves differently as opposed to when it is being observed. Now guys, as I explained in my videos, whenever I drop a term, whenever I drop a concept or a book, I want you to go research it. So go watch a couple videos on the double slit experiment. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But the summary is this. A particle, when it's not being observed, behaves a certain way. And then when it's observed, it snaps into a certain position and it stays that way when it's being observed. But when it's not being observed, it behaves totally different, which is trippy to think about. Just like a video game, when a room doesn't really formulate or render until you walk into that room. Think about it as a kid. You ever wonder when you walk into a room as a video game character that it renders, it takes some time, it loads, there's a loading screen. I'm like, why can't I just walk into the room? Because they're creating a whole different reality that would not have been there until I hit the door and pressed X to walk in. So now I just gave you several examples why this isn't just a metaphor or a theory. The scientists, the builders, the architects, the mystics, the philosophers, the authors, they all said the same thing. They all described this simulation type game. And once you see that, you cannot unsee it. So the first thing that I want you to realize about any video game is that there's a character, the one that you play, the one that has a name inside the game, the one that you're controlling, and then there's a player, the person holding the controller, aka you. The character is the thing on the screen, okay? This character has a health meter, has stats and skills. They usually have a money bag. You know, if you're playing most of these games, you're collecting coins. Think about any game you can think of, Super Mario, Zelda, whatever, doesn't matter. GTA, Sonic, whatever, they're collecting coins. And then there's usually a map. Like you can pause and go to a map. You can spawn to another map. You can, there's usually a hero's journey that you're following. You're doing quests. The character has a face, a name, a body, has skills, has a mission, has an identity in the game. And then the player is the one holding the controller. He's the one playing the game. The player is never really any danger. The character might get into dangerous situations. The player is never in any danger. He can literally put the controller down, turn the TV off, and he's good, right? So my first question to you is, which one are you? Are you the character or are you the player playing the game? So now guys, this explains the observer effect. Are you the person that things are happening to? Are you the observer observing things happening to that person? So I ask you again, which one are you? Many of you spent your whole life believing that you are the player. The name, the body, the wounds, the scars, the tough situations, even the balance in the account. You think this is yours because you think you're this person. You've been living inside a simulation, and that's why you take everything personally. You're not able to separate things that happen to you, identities and traumas and different titles, because you identify as this person. But watch this. The minute you become this person, the observer, and just for you guys, I'm gonna drop the definition of the observer effect. Pause this and read this. Okay, boom. So watch this. Right now, you can observe your own thoughts. So guys, when we talk about high EQ and emotional intelligence, right? Because everyone talks about IQ, no one talks about EQ. You talk about healing trauma and doing different type of breath work. A lot of times, that's what they're teaching. It talks about becoming the observer, or removing yourself, not taking things personally, removing yourself from the equation so you can think with a clear head. So think about it. Right now, you can observe your own thoughts. Something happens to you, you can observe yourself reacting to it, right? You can watch a thought or an emotion or a feeling or whatever come up and then observe yourself feeling that feeling. Well, if you can watch the thought, then who is the one watching it? If you can feel an emotion coming through your body, but you stop it in its tracks and realize that this human vessel, this skin suit, is observing it, and if you are aware of it, then you are not it. You're the one aware of it. So now I say that to say that when you become the observer, that is the person holding the controller. When you get caught up in the other stuff, right? Taking things personally, having the ego, identifying with a certain characteristic, that's this character, not the player. The player is the one holding the controller, the observer. So that explains lesson number 1. Get it clear. You are not the character. You are the player holding the controller, controlling the character. The minute you understand that, that's the first paradigm shift. Think about it. Neville Goddard called it the I am. The Hermetics call it all is mind, the person that's controlling the mind. The watcher is not the watched. The player is not the avatar it's controlling. And the entire game changes when you remember who you really are. Because the character can only react. The character is just reacting to the buttons being pressed or something happening to the game, right? The game has a logic. You can't do things outside the game. Whatever it's meant to do, it's gonna do, right? Like the door example I gave. You can't press a different button to walk to the door. If you're in a fighting game, you press X, and that's punch or that's jump. It's gonna do exactly that every single time. It's just reacting. But the observer, he's the one who's in full control. The observer can control the pace, control the state. He's the one that can move around. And he's the one that can make the decisions consciously, not react unconsciously. Okay, so now that you got that out of the way, let's go to the next topic. And here's the trap keeping everyone stuck at level 1. And this is gonna hurt some of you, but every game is full of NPCs. For those that don't know what NPC stands for, non-playable character, AKA those that are there to distract you. Now these characters, they appear the same for everybody. No matter who's playing the game, the NPCs have the same role. They run on a script. They're doing the same thing every single time. Same code, same lines, same loops, same reaction every single time. Because they were never making decisions on their own. They were just following the code, the script that was built for them. Whichever developer created this, created a code for NPCs. NPCs cannot operate outside the code. Now, if you're on the NPC level, that means you're there to distract everybody around you as well. And most of those NPCs are just there to distract you. They're there to pull you into their loop, pull you into their drama, pull you into their side quest, and keep you from ever completing the game correctly. The good news is the NPC can become the first player as soon as it learns that it's an NPC and makes the choice that the code didn't already write. The unexpected move, the decision the program did not allow them to make. They broke free from the traditional programming. And that's how you jump from level 1 to level 2, becoming the observer and learning that you could be the player. Now, with that being said, let's look at the game itself. 99% of the games have this feature called the HUD display, the heads-up display, right? I'll draw this out for us. I'll draw this out. All right, so now let's take a look at the game itself. Almost every single game, 99% of any game, I don't care if it's racing, I don't care if it's a fighting game, story mode game, sports game, doesn't matter. They all have this basic setup, the HUD, the heads-up display. It doesn't matter which game you're playing. It always shows usually skills, health, money/gold, the map. Let me write the map in here. The main objective of what we're supposed to be doing. The pros never stop checking it. Everyone else is just gliding through the game, trying to like screw around, but the pros are constantly reviewing these, constantly analyzing, constantly optimizing. And you all have the same exact heads-up display in your life right now. Now think about it. The HP bar, right? This is the one stat that ends the game. Run out and nothing else on the screen matters. Not the gold, not the level, not the experience, not where you saved, not the quest, not the mission at all. Game over. And most people walk around with their HP flashing red and they never take a moment to recharge it. They're running on improper sleep, they're running on garbage fuel, and then they wonder why they can't level up. You cannot play the game, sometimes it's on hard settings, with a low HP meter. Health is one of the most important things, because guess what? If this goes to 0, you die. And unlike video games, there's not multiple lives. You only get one in this dimension, one on this plane of existence. So health is actually one of the most underrated ones. So think how you can reset your health. In the games, there's like pausing, hiding somewhere, right? Sleeping. Think about it. There's pause, let your health reload, and then you can have power-ups. And I equate that to life at the gym. So you can literally increase your health meter. You can sleep properly, which increases your health. You can take the supplements. You can add in, your testosterone stack. You can add in your peptides. You can add in different things that increases your health. And of course, the goal is to increase that capacity, not go to 0. And as soon as it goes down, whether it's at the end of the day when you need to rest, whether it's when you're sick, when it goes a little down, the goal is to bring it back up, right? The goal is to have the best health possible. Now, the crazy story is, guys, that there will be more millionaires in the next 5 years than people with six packs, because health is so underrated, right? People are doing crazy drugs. There's so many different chemicals. There's so many different poisons in the food, but health is so important. If you live overseas in places like Dubai or Bali, where they're very health conscious, all the food is super clean. Everyone's pretty much going to the gym. Movement is part of the lifestyle in many cultures, right? Besides in the West. So that's why it's very important to take care of the health. With that being said, I also see the other end of the spectrum. Being healthy is being the new millionaire. Back then, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, pre-pandemic, it was like very cool to be rich. But now it's very cool to be fit. The thing is, with riches, you can buy different things, but you cannot buy your way to a good health, a good physique, good discipline. You cannot buy your way through that. Yes, can money be a tool? Yes, of course. But you cannot replace that. You cannot delegate and automate that with AI. Trust me, I may have tried. It does not work. You have to put in the hours. You have to put in the time. You have to increase your health. Now this leads me to the next thing. Your skills, your XP, your stats. Now guys, one of the things that I've been preaching for the last 2 years is being a polymath and maxing your stats. What does that mean? In a game, let's just use a very simple game like sports game or a racing game, right? Whether you're tuning your car, whether you're a basketball player playing 2K, you get your different skills and XP points. The goal is to get 99s and 100s across the board, right? Of course, you'll start out with different skill sets. Now, relate that back to life. Some might start off with different advantages and disadvantages. There might be a different place that you're born that has different resources. You might be born into a rich family, a poor family. You have to have there's different cards you're dealt. All these are different skills that you're given. Some people might be great at creative. Some people might naturally be good at speaking and creative and content. Some people might not be that good, right? Some people might have rich parents. Some people don't. Some people grew up in the hood, or they grew up very impoverished neighborhoods and they have to work their way up. These are different cards you're dealt. There's different levels of XP points that you're given when you spawn. But guess what? Your goal should be to max all of your stats, and not just in the video game world. Think about it. You should be the best leader, the best husband, the best father, the best brother, the best son, the best speaker, the best teacher, the best businessman. I don't know who came up with the system back then, right? Of someone being good at one thing and doing that thing till they die. I don't believe in that anymore. In the age of information, the age of technology, the age of AI, in the age of social media, there's no cap to the number of businesses you can have. There's no cap to the number of employees. There's no cap to the number of passions. Something that I've been doing is, of course, I'm a nerd at heart, right? I love reading. I love puzzles. I love games. I love trivia, but I also love combat sports. I also love sports in general. I played basketball for 5 years. I played football in high school and middle school. Right now I can go to any arcade and I'll take over any of the arcade games. That's just the mindset that I have. When it comes to business, I want to be the best creative. I want to be the best, speaker, teacher, leader, author. I want to do all these things, not just because of an ego. I literally want to max my stats. I literally want to be a polymath. If you look at any of the most talented people in the world, right? From Michelangelo and Da Vinci all the way to maybe Shaq and even Snoop Dogg, right? Once they hit a certain level of success in one category, they go and multiply that success in a different category. This is the definition of a polymath. Someone that takes multiple skill sets and applies them a multidisciplinary approach to life. And that's what I think life is all about. So as a video game character and as a person, you should be maxing your stats. Your new goal should be to become a polymath and to increase all of them to 99s and 100s. Your pockets, your money, your relationships, your job as a son and a brother, Your job as a father and a leader, your job as a boyfriend or husband or whatever, and your job as a businessman, your job as a speaker, leader, teacher, as an athlete, you should be maxing your stats. Now, everyone has these stats. Like I said, you might start off at different levels. Now, it's your job to pause, pull up the screen, pull up your stats, see where you're at, see what you can improve on, and consciously make some effort to improve it. Most people couldn't even tell you their real numbers. Yes, they've had a little bit of success in money, but what about their health? Why are they unhealthy and fat? Maybe they're super fit, but they're not rich. I'll give you a perfect example. A few years ago, I moved my entire family to Dubai. Now, Dubai, of course, you've seen it in the videos and movies and stuff like that. Very fancy, very advanced, very fancy. There's a lot of luxury. But what I noticed about Dubai is a lot of the people that had money over there came from money, and they didn't understand being a polymath. So a lot of them had money, but they didn't have a lot of soul. They didn't have a lot of culture and passions. And a lot of them weren't healthy. They barely ever went to the gym. It wasn't a priority. A lot of them were very frustrated with their relationships because they weren't able to max their stats in the relationship. Now, I also have a villa in Bali. So I live in Bali throughout the year. Now, everyone's fit in Bali. Every single person. It's a very health-focused island, right? Everyone from all over the world, everyone's jacked. And all these guys were fit, all these guys and girls were fit, but no one made more than 10K a month. I don't believe in that either. How are you gonna live your highest abundant self if you haven't made more than 10K and you haven't taken care of everyone? Very easy to live on 5, 10K a month when you're the only one you're feeding. But what happens when you wanna create legacy, build a family, retire your mom and dad, create generational wealth? Now, the fitness won't do anything. And at the same time, what happens when you have all this money when you don't have health? You're having problems at 30, 40, 50 years old. All the money in the world will happen. So what is the solution to that? Max your stats. That's simple as that. Become a polymath, solve both problems. Solve every single problem. And this can be applied towards relationships. Be the best leader you can be, the best teacher you can be, have the most fun, do all the passions. And there's a video that I made of do all the passions, die empty. Be a writer, a reader. If you want to drop a clothing line, do whatever your soul asks for, you have to do it. It's your responsibility to find out what you're passionate about, do it, and it's even cooler to get paid for doing what you love to do. So with that example, the rule is to pull up the heads up display, look at the real numbers, pause and assess, and then figure out how to max the ones that you're weak at. All right, let's move on to part 5, the respawn point. Okay, the next element is very crucial. It's probably one of the most important pieces of life being a video game. God literally created one of the most powerful tools that we can use. Every 24 hours, we get to use this element, the respawn point, AKA the save point or the checkpoint. So think about what I just said. Every 24 hours, the game resets. And what am I referring to? I'm referring to going to sleep. When you sleep, the character dissolves. In fact, you go into this whole other realm that, we have to make a whole other video on. The whole story of the whole day goes offline. And then when you wake up, you get a fresh 24 hours to respawn and do it all over again, to pursue your passions again, to make more money, to do better than you did yesterday, to take care of your family, to experience life as a whole. And if you play the night right, your mental fortitude, your health, everything gets reset. And you're a whole new person again, and you're blessed to have another 24 hours to do it again. The mystics called sleep a little death and waking up a new resurrection. And think about it, they weren't even being poetic, they were right. You are reborn every single day with another chance to reload another version of you. But here is the tragedy. Most people respawn as the same exact character that they went to sleep with. Same build, same beliefs, same negative thoughts, same patterns, and they make the same mistakes that they made the day before. Think about it. Imagine you're playing a video game and you go to a level and you get stuck. And the next day you come back and you do the same thing and you keep being stuck, and now you're wondering why you're stuck. Because you keep doing the same exact thing you did the day before. You got the most powerful free reset in the game every single morning, and you used it to reload the original file that you're stuck on. And now you're wondering why nothing's changed, why you've been stuck for so long. Tomorrow you get a fresh spawn. The only question I have for you is, who do you load back in as? Now, every game has a main quest, but every game has side quests too. Every game is full of them, and so is life. The truth is, some of them are amazing, some of them are fun, some of them might add to your experience, some of them might help you get random power-ups. But the unfortunate truth is, some of them are there to distract you. They might give you a little hit of dopamine, they might give you a small reward, a little bag, right? And then some people are living their entire life doing side quests and forgetting the main quest that they have. And their whole life becomes side quests, and they completely forget about the main mission in life. Now think about all the side quests that we face on a daily basis. The scroll, the drama, chasing other people's goals, the goals that were handed to you by your parents, society, family, religion, whatever. Chasing other people's approval. Even the little arguments that don't matter. You keep making that the main focus. Now as entrepreneurs, all the little busy work that keeps us occupied but doesn't move the needle forward. And yes, like I said, some of them might make you a little bag. They might give you a little bit of coins, but just enough to keep you busy. And if you keep running them forever, you will never advance to the main quest. You'll never get to face the boss of the main quest. You'll never beat the game. Now at the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, there's positive side quests. There's side quests that help you create experiences. This might mean traveling and living in a new spot. This might mean learning another language. This might mean picking up a new skill or a new instrument or a new business venture. These are all side quests too. My biggest thing with side quests is make sure you're doing the main quest well. Add side quests to create experiences, to max your stats, and help other people achieve their main quest. Is one of the most powerful side quests. Now, with that being said, once you find your main quest, every other side quest will do one of two things: either fall off because it no longer serves you, it no longer helps, it's no longer a focus area, it's no longer important, or it will serve your main quest. And that's when the map stops becoming a distraction and starts becoming the path that you follow. So when you see all these little side quests appear, if it's not going towards your main quest, you cut it off. Now with side quests come the map. In most games, you don't get the entire map up front. Why would you? If you got the blueprint, you'll whiz through the game and it won't even be fun anymore. A lot of times the map is covered in fog or it's locked. Once you get to a level, you unlock that part of the map and it reveals itself one step at a time. But if you stand still, the map never clears, the fog never goes away. And if you move forward one step in the right direction, the map reveals itself, aka the next part of the world loads in. So the thing to remember here is, one, you have to keep moving, you have to keep going forward. When you get that respawn, right, when you get that fresh 24, when God blesses you with the fresh 24, you have to move past where you stopped last time. You have to keep it moving, you have to keep it going, you can't stop. But what you should stop doing is demanding to see the entire map up front, trying to see the entire map before you taking a step forward. That is not how the game is built. It wouldn't even make sense. You're not meant to see the whole map from the start. The player who waits for the fog to clear before they take a first step will be standing forever. So guys, I hope you're getting a lot of value here. I'm taking 1,300 different books I've read, all the spiritual texts, all the different life experiences, building 3 7-figure businesses, and putting it into an easy to understand system that every kid understands: video games. So there's 2 more before we wrap it up. First, co-op. For this one, it's very simple. Many of the levels you cannot beat solo. The real bosses in the game were never designed to be beat solo. Now, who's in your party, who's playing with you, can either make you or break you. If you run with a strong team, you can beat the game with ease. Now this team could be a significant other, and most of the time the team is very simple. It's either a significant other or a friend or a business partner or a small group that can help move the level forward every single time. So who you choose in your company is very, very important, even for a video game. At the same time, if you carry dead weight, if you keep partnering and being with people that keep getting you destroyed and killed, decreasing your health, decreasing your gold, decreasing your skills, getting you lost in the map, you will be stuck in the game forever, and you won't even be able to get to the final boss. Now this is very important, guys. If you look at any of the multiplayer games, you look at, any of the sports games, racing games, shooting games, co-op is very, very important. Now in life, this is the most important thing. See, business is a very big part of my life. My relationships are a very big part of my life. In life, family is one of the most important things in people's lives, right? Who you pick is very important. Who you spend time with is very important. Making sure they're aligned and they know their role is very important. Everyone needs to know their role, right? And it's your job as the leader, as the player, teach them their role. Remember, step number 4 is the master, the developer, right? The person that understands the game can teach others. Now, it's your responsibility as a man, as a leader, as a CEO, as a father, as a friend, as a husband. It's your responsibility to lead and teach other people once you understand the game. Once you go from NPC to first player mode, to becoming the observer, holding the controller, and then becoming the developer, the master, you have to teach it to others. So as we talk about co-op and building your team and partnering with the right people and dating the right person, marrying the right person, there's so many aspects of a video game that you can extrapolate into life. There's cheat codes, there's glitches, there's different things that are going on. And the thing is, the NPC walks right past the glitches and the cheat codes. The master, the developer, the observer, he understands them and knows how to incorporate them into their life. And I can go on and on and on. Now guys, if you made it this far, I owe you the secrets of beating the video game. But before we do that, if you're new here, my name is Ali the Alchemist. I built 3 7-figure businesses by the age of 30. I got my dream girl, retired my family, lost 65 pounds, and created my dream physique, all using the universal principles of alchemy. My job is to inspire and teach others to do the same. So with that being said, please subscribe, like, and share, because I'm going all in on this YouTube journey, and I want you guys there every step of the way. Anyway, here's the first secret to beating the game, and it may sound like a contradiction. Secret number 1 is you don't win. There is no final win screen. There's no credits telling you there's nothing left. It's over. Anyone selling you that is a liar. You don't win the game, but you master it. Master players stop being NPCs. They even go past steps 2 and 3 of being the first player and the observer, and they go directly to developer master. This is where they become teachers. This is where they go and teach the knowledge and create other leaders. And the important thing is, guys, the goal was never really to win. It was to master the game and master multiple games. What happens as a kid when you beat a video game? You go into the next game. You take the same principles from the first game into the next game, and you get a little sharper, you get a little wiser, you get a little faster, you beat it a little sooner. It might have taken you a year to beat one video game as a kid, and the next one should have taken you a few months, and then a few weeks, and then you become a master gamer, and you can pick up any single game and just crush it no matter what game you're playing. And that leads me to secret number 2. There isn't only one game, because every single game has a different level, and every level is harder than the last, and every level has a bigger boss that you didn't even experience last level. You couldn't even perceive it till you mastered this one. And since there isn't one game, you take the principles you learned from this game and you play a whole second game. Let's just say you're in business, and in one business you learn leadership and delegation, communication, and if you start a second venture, you could take those skill sets and have it translate to the second business, and don't make as many mistakes as the first business, right? That's just how it works. Imagine you playing a sport and you're a basketball player, but now you want to pick up fighting, so you learn the footwork and you learn the head movement and you learn the mobility and agility of your body. So boom, you take skills from one, you apply it to the second. There is not only one game, there's multiple games, and your job as a man is to master all of them. Secret number 3, you can play the game again and again. The master knows the game can be replayed. In fact, you can walk into the same game with all the new skills, all the new memories. Imagine starting another business. Imagine the next time you go into a relationship, you learn everything that you learned from last time and you do it better this time. You get one step closer to mastering it. And you can play multiple games. I relate a lot of things with spirituality, and I also relate to business because these are big components of my life. Also related to health, and all these different things can be applied, and all these different things can be applied in every single aspect. Last but not least, secret number 4. This is the highest level of play there is. You can teach the game to someone else. The final form of mastery is not just playing the game well yourself. It's to find another player that's stuck on one of the levels and keeps taking hits as the character, doesn't realize that they're the character, doesn't even realize they may be the NPC, and then teaching them by handing them the controller. That's what a master does. He becomes, and then he guides. And that's the 4th level. Now guys, there's one aspect of a video game that I didn't bring up, which is the cheat code. Now if you really look at what a cheat code is, that is the cheat code of life. That when you put down the controller and you're done playing the game and it's your time to stand up and go to the next reality, next simulation, wherever, the developer could be proud of you and know that you did a good job. Now guys, that was very deep. I want you to take what you want from that and implement to your life. Ponder on that for a little bit. So now remember, tomorrow you get a fresh respawn, and you and only you get to decide who loads back in. Are you going to be the NPC that doesn't even know he's playing? Or are you going to be the character that keeps getting stuck on the same level? Or finally become the player that remember he's the one holding the controller? I know which one I'm going to choose. Now, if something clicked for you and you realize that you're playing wrong the whole time, please drop a comment and let me know. And I hope we get to co-op and play together one day. Now go ahead and go play on purpose. Let's go.